ECDL Advanced, Excel, Lesson 66, Date and Time Functions. So we had a little introduction to functions in the last lesson, and now we're going to focus on purely date and time functions. Dates and times are stored as numbers of days since midnight, that's 0000 hours, on the 1st of January 1900. Calculations using dates and times are carried out using the numbers which represent those dates and times. There are two key presses which automatically insert the current date and time. Let's have a look at those now. If I press the control button and then while it's pressed I press the semicolon button, we will now have inserted the current date as text. If we wish to show the current time, we press Control and Shift at the same time and then the semicolon. And as can be seen, today, right now, while I'm speaking, is the 6th of May 2020 and the time is 18:59. There are also several functions for use purely with dates and times. Let's look at a few. The date function, so that's equals date, open brackets. Let's say I'm going to pick 92 for the year, comma 4 for the month, comma 13 for the day. This is going to return the number for a particular day, which gives me 33,707, which is actually the number of days from the 1st of January 1900 to the 13th of April 1992. Let's look at that again. The 13th of April 1992. Okay, next let's look at day, month and also year. So let's try equals day, open brackets. We need to put in the text, so it needs double quotes around this. 23/11/67. Close the brackets. Don't forget to put the double quotes around. And what this will do is pick out from the date, the 23rd of November 67, it will pick out what day number it is of the month, so it should give us 23, which it does. We can do the same for month. And now it should give us the number 11 for the month number, which it does. Finally, equals year, and again 23/11/67, and this time it should let us know the year number, which is 1967. Next, let's look at the now function. The now function returns the current date and time as a number, and it is actually updated as the worksheet is calculated. So, equals now, and then empty brackets, an open bracket followed by a close bracket. And if we press enter, it will return the current date and time as a number. So therefore it is right now 43,957 days since January the 1st 1900, and right now we're 0.79 of a day through today, if that makes any sense. Next, let's look at date value. Date value converts the date as text to a number. So here's an example. Equals date value, open brackets, and then we're going to put the text in for the date. So let's put in quotes 21st Sept 49. We make this a little bigger so you can see this. And we get the date value as being 18162. We used just before the now function, which returned the current date and time as a number. We've got a related one which is called today, and what this is going to do is to return the current date as a number, and it's updated as the worksheet is calculated. The way we enter that is equals today and then open bracket, close bracket. Press enter and it'll tell me today is 43957, that's 43,957 days since January the 1st, 1900. Okay, 4 more to have a look at. We're going to look at weekday, which converts a number to an integer representing the day of the week, where Sunday is classed as day 1 and Saturday is classed as day 7. And the way this would work is as follows. Equals weekday 22 May 64, close brackets, and what it's going to do is to tell us what day of the week the 22nd of May 64 was. And the answer is 6. In other words, it was the 6th day of the week, it was a Friday. Okay, next let's look at time. The time function is going to return a value in the range 0 to 0.9 recurring, which will represent a fraction of a day. For example, equals time, and then in brackets 16 48 10. This is the number of hours, the number of minutes, and the number of seconds. So we're trying to work out what portion of a day we've gone through if we've gone through 16 hours, 48 minutes and 10 seconds. And the answer, 0.70 when rounded to 2 decimal places, which is how I have this column set at the moment. Okay, just 2 more to go. We've got time value. Let's look at this one. This is going to return a number as a fraction of the day. So let's try this out. Equals time value, open bracket, double quote, 22 of August 2011, 6:35 a.m. Close the quotes, close the bracket. So what we're looking for is what decimal part of a day if we're specifying the date and the time. And this tells us that at 6:35 a.m. we are 0.27 of the way through a 24-hour day. Okay, I'm just going to press F2 so we can edit this particular formula. Now, just to show you that you actually don't need the date in to do this. So therefore, if I get rid of the date and I just have in the brackets and the double quotes just the time, 6:35 a.m. in this format, then when I press enter, it's also going to give me the answer of the fact that we are 0.27 of the way through a 24-hour day. Now, just as we did with the day, the month and the year, when we were able to extract just the day number, just the month number, or just the year number, in a similar way we also have 3 functions to do very similar with hour, minute and second. So let's have a look at those. Equals hour, don't forget the double quotes again, 6:35 p.m. close the double quotes, close the bracket, press enter. This gives us an answer of 18 because on a 24-hour clock, 6 p.m., the 6 would mean 1800 hours. Okay, I'm going to press F2 to edit this formula. And what we'll do is change the hour to minute. When we press enter, what it should do is give us the number 35. There we go, it's 35 because the number of minutes was 35. Finally, let's change this just that we can pull out seconds. So I'm putting in 6 hours, 35 minutes and 43 seconds. And this time what I want to know is how many seconds is that? S-E-C-O-N-D, enter. And it tells us the second element of the time, so the element that applied to the number of seconds was actually 43. Okay, it's taken a while to get through those, but as I'm sure you can see, there's quite a few different functions that can be used when we're working with date. Okay, at that stage, let's get on with an exercise. So if you open a fresh Excel workbook, and we're going to get a little practice at the kinds of functions that we've just been discussing. So, in B2, enter the label time as number. In D2, enter time as text. In B4, enter the formula equals now. So that's equals now, and if you remember, open bracket, close bracket. We now want to format this so it displays just hours, minutes and seconds. So, if we go to the Home tab and look in the number group, from the general drop-down, select time. In D4, press Control, Shift, semicolon. So that's Control and Shift at the same time, and then the semicolon. And this will enter the current time. In B8, enter the function equals time, and then in brackets 8,30,0, and then close the brackets. I want to change this so rather than hours, minutes and seconds, it just gives hours and minutes. So I'm right clicking on B8. I'm going to format the cells. And if I go to custom, here I can find just hours and minutes without seconds. Let's click there, press OK, and now it shows as 8:30, just hours and minutes rather than seconds as well. I'm just pressing Ctrl Z. Another way of doing this, simpler way probably, would be to go for Home. Let's go into more number formats, and that takes us to the same place, custom, and then we want to select just hours and minutes, so again taking us to the same place, and press OK. In B12 we're going to try and calculate the elapsed time, so equals B4 minus B8, and that's telling us that from 8:30 in the morning 10 hours, 54 minutes and 53 seconds have gone by to get us to the time of 19:24 and 53 seconds. Now I'm hoping you noticed that the time as number and time as text should now appear as different times. So this is because the function now is updated as the worksheet is calculated, while using Control Shift places the current time as text in the sheet, which is not updated. So this one is a text field, and this one that keeps getting updated, that was the one that we generated by using the function now. Okay, back to where we were. In F2, that's over here, enter equals today, and then open brackets, close brackets. In F4, enter equals date, then your date of birth as numbers in the form year, comma, month, comma, day, with 2 digits for each. This gives us the 22nd of May 1984. In F8, enter equals F2 minus F4. If necessary, format the cell as a number with no decimal places. And what this does is show your age in days if you were born on the 22nd of the 5th, 1984. Okay, everything else we're going to do in this particular lesson is going to relate to your birth date, which will be in F4. So I'm just going to scroll across, give ourselves a bit more room. Now in H4, enter equals weekday, open brackets, select F4 and close the brackets. This is going to give a number corresponding to the day of the week on which you were born, and it works as Sunday is 1, Monday is 2, up to Saturday, which is 7. And if we select enter, we find out that the 22nd of the 5th, 1984 was 3. In other words, it was Tuesday. Now what we can do is to custom format H4. So rather than showing the 3, we could show it as the actual day of the week. To do that, right click, format cells, custom, and then in the type box type DDDD. Then press OK, and now the 3 will be converted to the day of the week, which is a Tuesday. Next, let's move to J4. In J4, equals day, open brackets, F4, and this will extract the day part of your birth date. Next, equals month, and this will select the month, which is the 5th. Finally, in J6, enter equals year, open brackets, select your birth date, close brackets, and it will extract the year part of your birth date, which is 1984. Okay, thank you so much for bearing with. The lesson has been packed with all sorts of date and time functions. I hope you find these of use, and I look forward to seeing you next time when we're going to be looking at lookup functions. Okay, I look forward to seeing you then.